Hello everybody and welcome to CRL Tier 1 Season 10 Round 7. It is the Portuguese Grand Prix. We are joining Quali a bit late due to some technical difficulties with the previous attempt at the stream. Stuck on a black screen for a while. It looks like this qualifying is playing out quite interestingly so far though, and I'm interested to hop in and see what is going on so far. So we have IRT Frank on provisional pole position as it stands at 16.0. That's a good lap time from the Aston Martin driver. IRT Phil in second, followed by Kenny. So the three IRT boys there, actually four IRT boys taking up, five IRT boys even taking up the top five, as I slowly notice more and more IRT drivers in that top group of drivers. Followed by Bompja in 6th, 7th is AJ Wuhan as it stands, Pink Eye in 8th, 9th, our very own IRT Indigo, usually commentating this tier, but today he is driving in the Alfa Romeo. Great to see him. I believe after, I believe he said he was something like 4 years in the league, he's finally doing a race in here, so this is excellent to see. Indigo very, very well accustomed to the league, and now he gets to drive in it. Gernman in 10th, Chaza in 11th, 12th is Nathan, Sweet Crown, Pease, Sieb, Cross Liam, and Bosch Evans are yet to set times though. So Sweet Crown, we can see actually coming out of the pit lane now. I would expect to see him setting some quite fast times. He has been very quick all season. Our current championship leader, if I'm not mistaken, I will pull up the standings for myself so I can just confirm that quickly for you. Yeah, after Las Vegas, we have Sweet Crown in the lead of the championship, followed by CRL, Nathan JB17. So that is 13th and 12th, respectively, on the grid currently, as P's not on track there. And CPI, Pink Eye, not sure exactly when, but at some point putting himself up into third onto the second row of the grid for him. So that is looking good for Pink Eye as it stands. I will take off the tire graphic. I don't think that's really needed during qualifying. That being said, in third in the championship as it stands is the McLaren driver, IRT Kenny. I believe he has finished fourth in quite a few of the past few rounds, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly, he has been quite quick recently. Let's take a quick look at this. Fourth in Las Vegas, fourth in Austin, Texas, fourth in Mexico. So yeah, the past 3 rounds he has been finishing fourth, so very strong results from him admittedly, though I'm sure he'll be pushing to get onto the podium this time round. Let's just take a minute to remember the forecast. Clearly it seems to be a clear-ish day at Portimao here in Portugal. Portimao, Portugal, Algarve, however you want to refer to it. Certainly, it is quite the roller coaster of a circuit, as we can see Phil here pushing quite hard through Sector 2. We'll see what he's able to do come the end of this lap. Through these couple corners here, this double right-hander, it's a really smooth drive. I remember learning this track. He's 0.181 seconds up, so just over a tenth and a half up on his previous lap time. That should be enough for provisional pole if he can hold it. As I was saying though, I remember learning this track back in, I guess it would have been F1 2021. And certainly that double right-hander I was mentioning, the only corner I could get right at the time, admittedly, a really, really brilliant corner, as it is a provisional pole position for IRT Phil in the Haas, a 1:16.003, a good lap time for the Haas driver, putting himself onto provisional pole for the time being, bit over 3 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left to go, as beating him by just 4 thousandths of a second. IRT, I'm gonna have to take a second to figure out how to pronounce that name, I will admit, but the AlphaTauri driver taking that provisional pole position as it stands. An exceptional lap from him. Got an ass in the paddock. Yep, so Sihilu. I'm going to take a guess at that being how you pronounce that. And I'm also just going to very quickly turn down the sound of the engines, because that was quite loud. I'm concerned it might be drowning out myself a little bit. Other cars, I guess. Not sure. Anyways, so that is provisional pole for him with a 115.999. Good lap for him. IRT still quite dominant at the moment. We can see just a small train of cars coming out there, but there's a Williams coming up to turn 1, all of them doing a good job to stay out of Bompya's way. Oh, but that does not help Bompya as he spins out of turn 1. So not optimal there for the Williams driver. In 7th currently, but not improving on this lap evidently. We'll see if there's any other drivers about to improve. Let's take a look down at Indigo, as I'm going to try and get into the habit of using this little spectator menu. Indigo up by 1.35 tenths of a second. We'll see if he can hold that through Sector 3, turn on the DRS, cross the line. It's no, I think he must have gone for a spin in the final sector, because that is not an improvement on his part. Gernman up by 269 thousandths of a second, 269 thousandths of a second. That is 2 and a bit tenths of a second. Let's see how he does through Sector 2. A fast, swooping uphill right-hander here. The Ferrari driver managing nicely. Still more uphill here, up the left-hander, and now it's going to be swooping downhill. Manages to avoid that Alfa Romeo. I think that was AJ Wuhan there. Yes, it was. As Gernman now into the 3rd sector. He's up by 6.4 tenths of a second now. Only a couple corners left to go for the Ferrari driver, navigating the hairpin towards the end of the lap well. We saw Max Verstappen extending track limits there in 2021 on the final lap of the race. Got his fastest lap of the race revoked there. And, but Gernman not doing that. He improves by 7 and a bit tenths of a second, putting himself up into 5th position. A very good lap there from the Ferrari driver. But I'd be interested to see if Sweet Crown is on a lap, because I have not seen anything from him lap time-wise yet. And I know for a fact he's a very quick driver. We've seen it all season long. So let's see if he can keep it up here. Is he, well, I suppose he's not going to be up or down in the 1st sector, given he doesn't have a time yet. But we can take a look at where he will be. 20 seconds left in this session. 15 seconds left now as the Red Bull driver, bit of snap of oversteer up the hill. Very difficult traction zone there. We can see MotoGP cars getting air over that hill there when they race here, but we are in F1 cars. They will not be getting air. They will be going as fast as they possibly can. So, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that name, am I? The man on pole, currently, not going any faster. He's in the pits. He's accepted that he will be there. IRT Frank, a 116.008 is 3rd, but let's see Sweet Crown round the final corner, keeping it tight to the right, down the long straight. Where's it going to be? It's going to be 5th position for Sweet Crown, our championship leader, all the way down in 5th on the 3rd row of the grid. Not what he will have been aiming for. Let's see, IRT Phil, down, up the left-hander, CRL Nathan JB takes provisional pole. It's Kenny who takes it now, though. Kenny in the McLaren taking pole position for the time being. Will Phil be able to do anything about that? As I say, I did not see his split through the end of Sector 2, but he's in Sector 3 now. Still pushing very hard. A bit of ERS left. He's going to go through the second last corner. Now, down the last swooping right-hander for the final corner. Phil, will it be pole position? Will it be 4th? Will it be somewhere in between? What's it going to be? It's going to be provisional pole. It's going to be pole position for IRT Phil. A wonderful lap right at the end of 15.847. I believe that's what his steering wheel says there. What a lap for the German. And that is pole position for the IRT driver for Haas. For IRT Phil. What a lap there. We can see one just beating out Kenny by 0.063 seconds. So very close times, especially at the front of the grid. We have all of the top 6 within 0.2 of a second. So that's really, really close today. Quite a few of them IRT drivers, you might notice. And I tell you what, Kenny should be happy with that. Given he's been fourth the past 3 races, we'll see if he can better that, but Phil should be happy most of all. Your grid is Phil, Kenny, Nathan, I'm not going to pronounce that, hold on, Frank, Julian, Pease, Sweet Crown, Pink Eye, Gernman, AJ Wuhan, and some others. C, Bompia, and Chaza. I'm going to take a look again at how I pronounce that name, because holy crap, I cannot seem to get that. That was an incredibly close qualifying session, though. Very, very impressive. Let's see. I'm so sorry, first of all, but Sihilu. I'm going to say that's it. Kihilu? Kihulu? Kihulu? I don't know. I'm going to have to try and get this down. But I have to say, I'm really looking forwards to this race. It's going to be really excellent, I think. We've got lots of phenomenal drivers racing today. Unfortunately, not a full grid, but we do have lots of fantastic replacements in for those who could not attend today. I'm just going to take a sip of water before the race because I don't think I'll be getting any breaks with the grid this close. We are ready for the formation lap here. So your grid is Phil, Kenny, Nathan, Sihilu, Frank, Julian, Pease, Sweet Crown, Pink Eye, Gernman, AJ Wuhan, C, Bompia, Chaza, Indigo, Cross Liam, and Bosch Evans. So, I would generally ask at this point Indigo, I would ask him who his favorite is to win. I hope he'd say himself, despite him being down in 15th. But I'm gonna have to give my favorite for the win instead. It's really hard to say, honestly. This grid is incredibly close from that qualifying session. The top 6 separated by less than 0.2 of a second. It could be anyone's game, really. Kenny has been really quite strong recently, so it's hard to bet against him. Sweet Crown's been very fast as of recent as well. I mean, he always seems to be, so you can never count him out, even with him starting down in 8th. But I think for today I'll have to put my favorite on either Phil or Kenny. It could be either of the two, really. Kenny has shown in recent times that he's been very, very quick in the race. Comparatively, Phil has been exceptional just today, just flying along in qualifying. We've seen him up at the front the entire time. So it really is hard to say, but I think I'd have to give it to one of them. I should quickly run through strategy, though. Before the race starts, let's take a quick look. I'm gonna just disable one. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to figure out what to put on the screen. Anyways, everybody is on mediums except Sweet Crown and AJ Wuhan. Sweet Crown on hards and AJ Wuhan on softs. What a view we have here, actually. And maybe what I'll do is I'll put... I don't know. I don't know what to put up and what not to put up, truth be told. I'll take this graphic off for a moment. As Julian getting disqualified from the formation lap, we can see Crossley doing some donuts there, warming up his tires very aggressively. Yeah, so let's take a look. I hope you're ready for this race, because I am very excited. It's gonna be 1 red light, 2 red light, 3 red lights, 5 red lights. It's lights out, and we are racing here in Portugal. It's a good getaway for Phil. Kenny seems to have a good launch as well, but it's even better for Nathan. Nathan's going to challenge him into turn 1. Phil comfortably leading through turn 1. Further back, we can see an Aston Martin and several other cars going off. Way off goes Gernman. Off in back in about 11th. That might have been Sieb as well, I'm not sure. As side by side are Frank and Pease. Pease is going to try and make it through on the outside. No noticeable contacts yet, I don't believe. Nobody certainly falling well off the back of the grid. Pease can't make it around the outside of Frank, so Frank maintains that lead, or not that lead, but 5th position for now. Nathan coming under pressure from Sihilu. The AlphaTauri driver putting a lot of pressure on the second place man in the championship, and a reserve up in the front, so good job from him, good job from all drivers just making it through turn 1 cleanly. It is very difficult to make it through this turn 1 cleanly. Up at the front of the grid, it's still Phil who leads into the final corner. I can't say he won't be leading out of it as well. Phil is going to lead us across the line at the end of our first lap. The Haas driver leads a lap. Let's see, further back, is there any movement? Anybody super close? Nobody quite going side by side from the looks of it. Actually, Gernman, as I say that, getting past Sweetcrown. Sweetcrown seems to be struggling. Sweetcrown has wing damage, actually. I tell you what, you can see it just missing his front right end plate. You can see there, just to our left, there is his missing end plate. Let's see if Bompia can make it past Sweetcrown. He can't quite. Oh, he's going to go off track. He's going to make the move, but that's a bit of an illegal overtake. Arguably, he will have to give that back. We're going to see Indigo looking for a move on both of them now. Indigo on the inside of Bompia. Is he going to make the move? He's certainly going for it. He can't do anything yet. It's going to be on the outside of the next corner. If he gets anything, he backs out. Bompia keeps the position. He's in 12th. Indigo again looking down the inside. Not quite able to make the move there as Sieb looks to be losing a position from Cross Liam. The Aston Martin driver making it up into 14th. He's not in the points yet, but he will be fighting his way into it. I'm sure he would hope. Further up the grid, though, it's still some very close gaps. The AlphaTauri right behind Nathan. Sihilu right there, right on the back of them. Bompia getting past Sweetcrown now. Bompia into 11th through that hairpin. It looks like he made the move. He's running a little bit wider through that last corner than Sweetcrown. I wonder if Sweetcrown into the pits off of those hard tires, so that gamble did not pay off for him strategy-wise. After having gotten that front wing damage, I wonder if he's decided it's just hurting him too much. As there is contact further back, it's AJ Wuhan down to 14th on those soft compound tires. That gamble also not paying off, as the Alfa Romeo driver tumbling down the grid into 15th. Off the roller coaster down to the bottom of the grid. And yeah, so that is Sweetcrown. I imagine he replaced his front wing. We'll try to get a quick look at that if we can. Let's see, as he exits the pits through turn 1, I believe he has, yes, he does have a new front wing on that Red Bull. So, Phil leads from Kenny, leads from Nathan, Sihilu, Frank, Pease, Pink Eye, Julian, Gernman, Bompia. That is your top 10, followed by Indigo, Cross Liam, Sieb, Chaza, AJ Wuhan, Bosch Evans, and most notably, at the back of the grid, Sweetcrown. So it looks at the current time like Sweetcrown's only savior may be a safety car. So the Red Bull driver, surely I would imagine he'll be hoping for one of those quite shortly. But at the moment, quite severely disadvantaged. It's going to be Nathan down the inside of Kenny, though. Into turn 1, they make contact. Nathan going off, pushing Kenny even further off. Let's see, off board. Kenny's going to go round the outside of Nathan in return. Nathan falls back down to third. He's going to lose a position to Sihilu. As the AlphaTauri driver making it through, it's going to be Frank on the inside as well. We've seen last week at Las Vegas, these drivers are so opportunistic that one mistake generally sends you tumbling down multiple positions. And we're seeing that again with Nathan here, as Nathan just about reclaims that position on Frank. So Nathan back up into 4th after momentarily being down to 5th. And it's going to be Pease looking for a move on Frank now. The Aston Martin coming under pressure from the Alpine. Pink Eye not too far off the back of that. But interestingly, Phil having broken the 1 second gap as Sieb off the track in the grass. Not what the Ferrari driver will have wanted. Way off. A lot of camber there on the grass. That must have been an uncomfortable way to get going again. But he does get moving once again. Phil breaks the DRS gap. He's over a second ahead of Kenny. As I say that, Kenny gets back within a second, but you'll notice that his DRS is not open, whereas Sihilu's is open. Sihilu putting pressure on him. It's Gernman going down some positions there. What's going on with the Ferrari just being overtaken down the straight? The DRS quite powerful here. Indigo up into 9th, into the points, and Bompja in 10th. Gernman dropping a couple of positions there. So I believe Indigo possibly gaining 2 positions there. I believe he was behind both Bompja and Gernman. And there's movement up at the front. It's Kenny getting past Sihilu for a moment. He doesn't stay ahead, but Sihilu back into 2nd. Kenny's going to be pressuring him to take that position back. For no apologies, Sihilu hadn't overtaken Kenny yet. He's only just done that now. So that is a position gained for the AlphaTauri driver. Those 3 IRT drivers fighting it out at the front. Phil just straddling around 2nd ahead of Sihilu. So we'll see, straddling that 2nd gap. We'll see if he can stay out of DRS range of Sihilu. We're coming up to the DRS detection point. It's just going to be this white line up here. Actually, there is no white line. Oh, there was actually. Apologies for that. So it looks like Sihilu does have DRS on this occasion. He does. The rear wing is open, so Phil only safe for a lap. It's looking like Sihilu might be pushing to take this win. He's definitely in the running. 33 laps overall, 6 down, 27 to go, I believe. And so Kenny in 3rd, Sihilu in 2nd, and Phil in 1st. Further down the grid, there's a bit of a train further back with this group here, starting at 9th with Indigo, going down to about 14th with AJ Wuhan. So that is certainly a little bit of a train forming there. Some sections a little bit further apart. Cross Liam just over 2nd behind Gernman. So really it's just these 3 here that are really battling it out. It's interesting to see what the Ferrari driver, the Williams driver, and the Alfa Romeo driver can do around this roller coaster. There's a lot of oversteer up there from Indigo. The car getting really loose. Really easy to lose the traction at this track with so much camber and just elevation change. It's so easy to lose the rear end as Chaza getting past getting past Cross Liam, but it's going to be a move for the lead. It's Sihilu going for the lead past Phil, and Nathan getting past Kenny. There's a spin further back. It's Bosch Evans, but Bompja getting past Indigo as well. There's movement everywhere. Gernman's going to take a look. He's not close enough. Indigo losing the rear end again. That rear end is so light. You can just see the car sliding. The rear end just coming out from under him a little bit. He's keeping it going, which is very impressive from the Alfa Romeo driver, but he's clearly struggling a lot. AJ Wuhan not keeping it going. AJ Wuhan appears to have spun, unfortunately, as Seed got past him. Not sure if there was contact involved in that with anyone, but unfortunate to see that happening. Nonetheless, Phil behind Sihilu. Sihilu is leading by 6/10 at the moment. We'll see if he can pull out a larger gap. He seems to be the fastest man on the track at the moment. We'll see what he can do about that. Certainly the fastest man in the front group. Notably, though, I'd say Sweet Crown appears to be getting a little bit closer to the back of this grid. Bosch Evans possibly spinning a couple times, I'm not certain. But Sweet Crown only about 9 seconds off the back of the grid, so he can start gaining positions a few laps from now. Well, I say a few, quite a few laps from now. Pease down the inside of Frank, though. That was aggressive defense from Frank. There's going to be contact. They're both off the track. Frank rejoins on the outside of Pease. Pease on the inside into the braking zone. He makes it through. Is it going to be a switchback for Frank? It's not. Up through this left-hander. So easy to lose the rear end. We see Pease struggling to avoid doing that. He has the DRS. He maintains the position. CRL AJ Wuhan out of the race, retiring in the pits. Unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver. He will not be taking home any points today. Alfa Romeo will be relying on the reserve Indigo to take that instead. Our usual commentator, I know you're missing his voice, but at least you can see him driving and having a good time, fighting with Bompja, fighting with Gernman, and Chaza right on the back as well. We'll see if he can make an impact in this race, getting himself into the points. Cross Liam is out. Liam has crashed. What's happened here? Can we see his car anywhere? Where has his car gone? Will Bosch Evans? I think the car will disappear before Bosch Evans gets there, but we are under safety car now. So this is precisely what Sweet Crown needed. Sweet Crown spent about 5 laps on those softs, getting a little bit closer to the back of the grid, and now he can box. Everyone's going to box. He can get closer to the back of the grid. He is going to benefit from this hugely. And everyone into the pits. Let's see, Bompia into the pits. Indigo, Gernman, Chaza. Chaza does go into the pits, yep. Steve, we'll see if Steve goes in. Yep, Bosch Evans, I would imagine, will as well, and I think Sweet Crown will too. But it's not going to be a ton of position change from what I can tell so far. Sihiliu in first still, followed by Phil, then Nathan, Kenny, Pease, Julian, Frank. So Frank falling down a position or two, so that's not optimal for the Aston Martin driver. Pink Eye in 8th, Indigo 9th. Bosch Evans doesn't pit. He decides to go for track position instead. So Bosch Evans up into 9th, Indigo 10th, 11th is Bompia, 12th Chaza, Gernman 13th. Sweet Crown doesn't pit. He's happy on this 6-lap-old softs. So Sweet Crown in 14th, taking track position over Seeb. Seeb down to 15th. So we have a Mercedes safety car leading the way for the time being, and certainly a very interesting continuation of the race in store for us, I have to say. And I'm just going to take a quick break to grab a drink of water. Welcome back. I am back, and I tell you what, I'm actually just going to take my sweater off, so I'll be a couple seconds more. Well, I hope you're ready for some good racing. As Bosch Evans and Sweet Crown decide track position is not the most important thing in the world, both of them boxing now. Sweet Crown onto the mediums. We'll see what Bosch Evans puts on. Excuse me, it looks like it's going to be a set of the hards. It is indeed. So we'll see how that turns out. Sweet Crown back down to last, but certainly on those fresh tires, that will be very useful for him. Interestingly, Julian, Frank, Bompia, and Seeb all on the softs, while others are on the mediums, as the focus of this camera view is awful. As it just comes more into focus, there we go, we can actually see the cars going around the corner. But yeah, so as those 4 drivers, I would imagine, would be gambling on another safety car, maybe about 5, 6, maybe even 7 laps from now. Comparatively, those hard runners, I would imagine, are all hoping to go to the end. Sweet Crown, I know he's very good at tire saving. It's been mentioned multiple times in past just how impressive he is when it comes to that. So we'll see if he can bring these mediums to the end even. But certainly a choice not to go onto the hards from him there. As a safety car in this lap, so let's go back up to the front. Sihiliu in the lead. The AlphaTauri driver is going to lead the pack away. We can see the safety car just up front, just out front, I should say. And let's just take a quick look at something. So, I just figured I should pop up the numbers of the corners on my laptop because I would like to be able to remember what those are, but I couldn't seem to do so. So, at any moment we could see Sihiliu going, and it's going to be interesting to see, when does he blink? He blinks now, he hits the throttle, he's gone. Where is he going? He's going to the inside. It's going to be everyone following him there. just getting into his slipstream. Nathan not able to make a move, but he was one of the closer people. It's almost 3 wide there as Pink Eye going up the inside of Bompia. It's going to be Indigo on the inside of Bompia now. Through turn 3 now, up through turn 4. He's going to be on the outside. He can't quite make the move there, but Julian getting past Peas. Julian capitalizing on the fact that he's got those soft tires. He's through on the Alpine. He brakes later into turn 5. Ooh, a bit of contact there between Frank and Peas. Frank and Peas battling it out very hard there. The Relentless driver and the IRT driver, as CPI, Pink Eye getting through as well on Bompia. I think he was already ahead, but just about holding that position. We'll see if Bompia can make a move down the inside of turns 10 and 11. He's going to make the move. Can he get through? He can't quite. Pink Eye's going to defend. He's got better traction. Kenny getting ahead of Julian, or possibly just defending from him. Julian definitely getting ahead now. Julian on the outside of the penultimate corner. Can he make the move? He's going to just stick it out round the outside. That is impressive work from him. He's got it. Frank is going to try and follow through, also on the soft tires. Both of these drivers trying to capitalize on their softer tires. They both made the move on Kenny. Kenny down to 6th. Further back, it's Seeb and Chazza. Seeb getting through. Sweet Crown up to 13th. So Sweet Crown gaining a couple positions on that safety car restart lap. And Sihilu in first still, followed by Phil, followed by Nathan, Julian, Frank, Kenny, Peas, Bompia, Pink Eye, and Indigo. That is your top 10 as it stands. It's going to be a look to the inside from Frank. He can't make the move on Julian, not yet. He's going to keep looking though, I would imagine, throughout the rest of this lap and through the next laps if he isn't through by then. 3-second time penalty for Bosch Evans. Bosch Evans really struggling for track limits here today. Let's see Julian on the back of Nathan. Will he be able to make a move on this occasion? It won't be through these corners. It would be into turn 1 if he makes a move on this occasion. Let's see what he can do through turn 13 now. We are leading up to the final section of the lap. He's going to need to line up the move here if he's going to make it, because it's all flat out down to turn 1 from here. He's 8 tenths off the back of Nathan, or apologies, 4 tenths off the back of Nathan. It's not an impossible overtake, but it's going to be very difficult, especially given we don't have DRS yet. But it is the fastest lap of the race from Julian. I believe he keeps that. He does, yes. Just the time penalty covering that for a moment as Peas gets past Kenny as well. Kenny down to 7th. It's not going his way today so far. Phil still in 2nd. He's only half a second off the back of Sihilu. We'll see what he can do. We've got about 20 laps left in this race, so a long way to go. We'll see if any of these drivers are going to make any mistakes, any exceptional overtakes, any crashes, as Bompia tries to get the switchback on Pink Eye. He gets it. He's through. Into turn 7 he goes in P8 ahead of Pink Eye. Further up the grid, it's Julian still close to the back of Nathan, only 3 tenths off even. A bit under even. He's 2.5 tenths off, just 2 tenths off now. He's right on the back of Nathan, a lot closer this lap than he was last. We'll see if he can make the move. It's through turn 13 again. Next up is turn 14. What will he be able to do? Is he going to line up a better exit? Not on this occasion. He's fallen back a little bit through that last couple corners. So I don't think he's going to be able to catch Nathan, but I tell you what, Frank is going to be able to catch him. Frank has a much better run down the straight. Frank, the Aston Martin driver, is going to take P4. IRT driver on IRT driver. He's through into turn 1. P4 is IRT Frank's for the time being, but Julian's going to fight it back on the inside. He thinks better of it in the end. Bompia getting back past Pink Eye. Pink Eye down the inside. Sweet Crown on the inside of IRT Indigo. Indigo on the inside still. Sweet Crown's going to try and capitalize. He makes contact with Pink Eye. He's got DRS. Is he going to be able to make it past Pink Eye? He's past Pink Eye. He's through on Bompia as well. Sweet Crown is back into the points-paying positions and already up to 8th with that. Incredible series of events there for the Red Bull driver, going from dead last after the first couple of laps to 8th position now. And actually, I tell you what, let's take a look. What is his gap to the leader? It's only 5 seconds. Do not count Sweet Crown out of this race. He is still in with a fight at this. only about 5 seconds off of the leader. So, that's not what I meant to do. As further back in the grid, Pink Eye only 3/10 off of Ompia. But I tell you what, the other Williams coming under pressure as well. Nathan has Frank right behind him. Frank, he's going to make the move down the inside of the straight. He's going to go up towards turn 1 as Phil makes it past Sahilu as well. Phil takes the lead. Nathan defends third. So Phil back into the lead for Haas. That DRS paying off. Let's take a look quickly. Let's enable this telemetry. They're very similar on ERS, although Phil has a little bit more than Sahilu. So Phil is in a position to defend. He can try and pull away, but it shouldn't be overly difficult to defend this position. He does have a few more percent of ERS than Sahilu, so it'll really come down to the slipstream and the DRS, given how even these two are. And of course, just noticing now, the entire field is a half sandwich, with 1st and 15th being Phil and Bosch Evans. But amidst that sandwich, let's see Frank still on the back of Nathan. Julian dropping off the back of the two of them a little bit. So I wonder if he's overused his soft tires already. They might be overheating. As Sieb overtaking Indigo. Indigo dropping slightly further back down the grid, down into 12th. Sieb does have the soft tires though. We'll see when the crossover point is between the softs and the hards to make the hards the better tires. Apologies for that sort of jumpy switch between drivers, but Frank on 0% overtake for a moment cannot make it past Nathan, but I tell you what, Nathan is equally low. So these two will struggle to push up towards the front two, but they're pretty even against each other. Julian, not too different, as Seed still battling with Indigo. Indigo on the outside, possibly. Now Indigo's going to go to the inside, down towards turn 5. Downhill braking. Can he brake later? It's on the inside for Indigo. He's going to make the move from the looks of it. No, Seed gets better traction. Is Indigo going to even be at risk from Gernman? He's not yet. Indigo in 12th position. In a Ferrari sandwich there. Gernman's going to be looking to make an overtake. I think Gernman probably picking up a warning there, running off the track a little bit. But it's a very small gap between that top two. Sahilu right on the back of Phil. Phil is going to have a hard time defending this one. He's got less ERS. He doesn't have a slipstream and he doesn't have DRS. It's surely going to be a move here for Sahilu. The AlphaTauri has the better run out of the final corner into the DRS zone, using the overtake. It's around the outside, but it doesn't matter. Inside, outside, he's through well before the corner either way. Pease getting past Julian as well, so Pease, a lot of movement down the straight actually, is Indigo making it past as well on speed. So Indigo, the Alfa Romeo driver, back up into 11th. A constant battle there between the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. And Nathan seems to have successfully warded off the threat of an attack from the IRT driver of Aston Martin, IRT Frank. CRL Nathan holding his own quite well. This is a result that he needs in the championship. He is, of course, sitting second in the championship as it stands, quite a distance off of the back of Sweet Crown. 43 points off the back of him even. So if he wants to mount a title challenge this season, this is exactly what he needs to capitalize on Sweet Crown being all the way down in 8th by getting himself a podium finish. We'll see if that holds. Nathan has been very, very quick this season, though, it must be said. So, Phil on the back of Sahilu, not able to make an overtake at the moment, still a few tenths off of him at the back of the straight. It's Sweet Crown through on Kenny, but Julian into the pits, so that is why he was dropping so many positions. Just going into the pits is the Mercedes driver. And, if you excuse me for 1 second, there's something I should check. All appears to be well. It was just double checking my audio. Just wanted to be sure it was all right. I've had some issues in past, so just double checking. Frank on the back of Nathan. I said earlier that he may have warded off the threat from the Aston Martin driver, but he certainly hasn't fully done it. He's got a little bit more ERS, but it's looking like an inconsequential amount. Sihilu also still under pressure from Phil, so 2 battles to be watching here going on to the final straight. Let's see if either of these drivers can make the overtake, apologies. Phil on the back of Sihilu. We'll see if he can do it. He's got DRS, he's got better ERS, but he's not using the overtake. Frank's using his overtake. He's going to go to the inside with the DRS, down towards turn 1. Aston Martin, Williams, who's going to come out on top? It's Frank for Aston Martin who comes out on top. He is in 3rd, but he's on the softs. Those tires will be getting very warm soon. I would not be surprised to see Nathan making an overtake at some point, getting back past, because those softs just will not last. We've already seen Julian pitting onto the mediums. His gamble for a safety car just did not pay off, and I suspect that's what all of the soft runners are doing at the moment, barring Bosch Evans. I'm not sure what he's doing, truth be told, but he's picking up more time penalties. That's what he's doing. Let's actually tell you what. Let's take a quick look at the penalties. Julian with 6 seconds, Sieb with 3 seconds, and Bosch Evans with 21 seconds. So 7 time penalties have been awarded to Bosch Evans so far this race. A minute down on the rest of the grid, but still in the race and trying his best, and that is, in my opinion, what matters the most. So, Sihilu, as I eat my words, not still in the race. Not still trying his best, unfortunately. But Sihilu in 1st, but not for long, because Phil takes the lead down the pit straight, using the DRS. He is in 1st now, through turn 1, through turn 2, and through turn 3. It's going to be another DRS straight out of turn 4, though. Can Sihilu fight it back? The AlphaTauri driver running strong all afternoon. Let's see what he can do. It's nothing on this occasion. We'll see if he can get anything down the pit straight on the next lap. But Frank is in 3rd. He's not under too much pressure from Nathan as it stands. Nathan about half a second back, 6/10 back. So as Bosch Evans' car finally disappears on the outside of turns 1 and 2, but it's Sieb on the back of Bompia, on the back of Julian. A larger gap between Bompia and Julian there. But point of that just being all 3 of those drivers gambled on softs, hoping there'd be another safety car. There is a saying, chaos creates chaos, but it hasn't done it enough on this occasion for those soft gamblers. We'll see what Frank does on his softs, though, because it cannot be an easy battle for him at the moment. He is running in 3rd, which is an exception, which is great for him, but it's not quite turning out the way he would want, I would imagine. Just given he is, of course, not... he's into the pits. Yep, as I was saying it, he's not getting that safety car that he wanted. So it was just, you had to wonder what he was going to do. But I tell you what, interestingly, Sweet Pea, who the hell is... Oh, Sweet Peas. Sweet Peas. I mixed together those 2 names. Apologies. It's also the name of my girlfriend's cat. Peas getting overtaken by Sweet Crown. There's no Sweet Pea on this grid. Sweet Crown and Ariel Peas. Apologies for that mistake. Sweet Crown getting ahead of Peas. Sweet Crown is right up in this again. He's only, I think he's still about 5 seconds off the back of the leaders, 4 seconds even. So Sweet Crown still not out of this fight. For the win, the Red Bull driver, what an exceptional result this would be if he comes back to take the win. He is on the mediums, which will wear out before the hards, but we also know that Sweet Crown is known to be very, very proficient at tire saving, so we'll see how the Red Bull driver manages this. He certainly doesn't have very much ERS at the moment, which is also something he's usually known to be very, very good at managing, so perhaps he is just in a position where he needs to be pushing as hard as he can. The Red Bull driver has been handed a tough race here after that collision, after that damage on the first lap. Phil is coming under pressure from Sihilu, though. Sihilu thinking better of it. We've got about 11 laps left to go in this race. What will the AlphaTauri driver do? Does he wait? Does he go for it? Gurnman being overtaken there by, I did not do that at all how I meant to, by Chaza, the McLaren driver getting past the Ferrari driver, so Chaza up into 9th. These drivers, of course, still fighting for points at this point. Bompia setting the fastest lap of the race, a 19.0. So, just behind the lap record of this track, I believe that is a race lap record, a 118.750 by Lewis Hamilton in 2020. I'm sure that is a race lap record, not a qualifying lap record. But yeah, so Phil, only 4.5 tenths ahead of Sahilu, still under a lot of pressure from the AlphaTauri driver, number 95 on that car. Let's see what number Phil's running with. It's hard to tell, that might have been a 2 there. I'm uncertain. We'll see if we get a good view of it here. It's a 21. So 21 versus 95. Let's see how these two drivers manage. He's gaining on the straight. He's gaining. Will Sahilu make the move here? He's not even using the overtake. He's lifting off. He doesn't want to make the overtake. The AlphaTauri driver just deciding it's not worth it yet. He's gonna hold on. He's gonna make the move later. Surely. I sure hope so. It'd be bizarre if he's planning on not making the move. But he's not making it yet. He even would have an opportunity down into turn 5 if he really went for it, but he doesn't want to dive Phil, as Frank setting the fastest lap of the race. Now Bompia setting the fastest lap of the race. So Bompia and Frank both going quite quickly as it stands. Kenny getting overtaken here by Pease. Can Pease successfully make the overtake? Or is it Kenny making the overtake on Pease? At this point I'm not even sure. But Kenny is on the inside. He's into 5th. Will Pease be able to get it under traction though? He does. Through the left-hander, he's going to have the inside. Then it's going to turn into the outside. Which will it be? Who will come out on top? Kenny, Pease. Kenny's going to come out on top for now. But Pease is not going to give up this position. He'll have until turn 1 at least to keep fighting this back. Through turn 13 now. Can he make the move into turn 14? That would be a foolish move, I would think. He doesn't even think about it. Bosch Evans leaves the session, but right now we're focused on Pease, who gets a snap of oversteer, but he's still in the slipstream of Kenny. He's going to run through the final corner in the slipstream. He's got less overtake than Kenny, but he's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream, he's got the position. Pease into 5th position in the Alpine. The McLaren driver just has to concede the position for the time being. Kenny is going to have to sit behind Pease. I believe Kenny is finished. So the Finnish driver having to sit behind the Alpine for the time being. Frank making a move on Julian there. So Julian falling behind Frank. The two drivers, the two IRT drivers, both of them were up towards the front of the grid at a certain point. Now battling it out at the back of the grid. But Frank on softs will surely have the advantage here. Let's head back up to the front of the grid though, because it is some great battling here from Kenny and Pease, and Sahilu still not far off the back of Phil. And I tell you what, Sweet Crown gaining on Nathan, 1st and 2nd in the championship, 3rd and 4th in the race. Let's see how this turns out between the Williams driver and the Red Bull driver. There's 3 battles to watch out for in the top 6. Let's watch Sahilu first. Can he make an overtake on this occasion? Does he want to make an overtake on this occasion? He's still saving Europe. He's using the overtake though, so surely he wants to go for it this time. He floors it. He turns on the DRS. He turns on the overtake. He turns on P1. He is in the lead now. The AlphaTauri driver making the move down the long straight. Apologies, I keep mispronouncing words. Just stumbling over it. I haven't had to do solo comms in a while. Lots of fun, but very difficult at times to just keep talking. So, that is the AlphaTauri driver in first, followed by the Haas. CRL Nathan JB, not GB, apologies. In third, Sweet Crown 4th, 5th is Pease, 6th is Kenny, 7th Pink Eye, 8th Indigo, 9th Chaza, 10th Gurnman, and I'll tell you what, the entire grid is just split into duos at the moment. We've got that front-running duo. We've got Sahilu and Phil. Sahilu pulling away quite a bit on this occasion, though, actually. We've got Nathan and Sweet Crown. We've got Pease and Kenny. We've got Pink Eye and Indigo. We have Chaza and Gurnman. We have Frank and Julian. And we have Bompia and Seeb. So no driver in this race is driving alone. This 4.653 kilometer circuit providing very good racing as it stands. We're going to go on board with Sweet Crown though, because this could be a very important move if he can make it. He and Nathan are extremely even on ERS. He's not using the overtake, or the DRS, apologies, fully. He's braking down the straight. I have no idea what Sweet Crown's doing, but it's not overtaking, I'll tell you that much. Kenny, right on the back of Pease, also not making an overtake, but he looks much closer to doing so. Kenny, through turn 3, can he get the run to make it up through turn 4 and down towards turn 5? Can he make the overtake with this DRS zone here? He's going to go down the inside towards turn 5. Kenny in the McLaren, the Finnish driver making it past. Oh, but it's going to be a switchback from Pease. Can he make the move through turn 6 and 7? He's going to be on the inside for turn 6, but it's going to be the outside for 7 and 8. He tries to make the switchback again down the inside of turn 8. Kenny missing the apex, but Pease not able to get the traction through the corner. Pease is lower on ERS, but still putting so much pressure on the McLaren driver. Kenny make the move. Pease down the inside of turns 10 and 11. He still can't make the move, but he's still going for it. There is no such thing as giving up for the Alpine driver. And I tell you what, I respect that. He's putting a lot of pressure on Kenny. Kenny makes a mistake even. Is there going to be around the outside for Pease? Can he make the move? Pease is going to back out. It's going to be a switcheroo. It's going to be a switchback. It's not going to be a move. He can't quite make it. He gets a bit of oversteer. He's behind Kenny. Just a few laps left to go in this race. He's going to get the DRS. He's on the inside. He's going to make the move before the corner. Is Kenny even lifting off there, I wonder? Because he seems to have just so much less straight line speed for a moment. Through turn 1, it is Pease through into 5th position. So Pease getting some snaps of oversteer there through turn 4. Kenny's not going to make the move on the inside this time. Kenny, though, appears to be losing his P4 streak. 3 races in a row he finished in 4th position. He doesn't look like he's going to do it again today, but he's still fighting so hard for 5th position. And that's the thing. Every point matters when it comes to league racing. Excuse me. Especially CRL, where it gets so close here. The drivers are so opportunistic. You don't want to lose any point, any position. You could be in the last race of the season in championship winning position, and one mistake takes you well out of contention. These drivers are so opportunistic. They'll take any opportunity they get. They'll just pounce on you the instant you make a mistake. And we're going to see Kenny making a move here down the inside towards turn 1, surely. Pease not trying too hard to fight it back on this occasion. I'm sure he'll try later, as there was some white lines just on the top of the screen. I think that's some architectural design at this circuit. An interesting choice there. As Julian making the move on Frank for P11. I believe we have the top 12 getting points in this league. So that is 4 points, I believe. I could be mistaken. I know we certainly did that at one point. I don't know if we still do. I think we do, but I honestly can't say. But nonetheless, that is P11 for Frank, but it's P1 for Sahilu. For the moment, he's over a second ahead of Phil. So the AlphaTauri driver looking comfortable out in the lead. It looks like he's going to keep this one. But at the front, still in 3rd and 4th are Sweet Crown and Nathan. They're still quite close together. 1st and 2nd in the championship. 3rd and 4th on the road. One of them on mediums, one of them on hards. But those mediums will be wearing out soon enough, I would think. Let's go back to Pink Eye, because he's not far off the back of Pease. It's going to be a 3-way fight at this rate between Kenny, Pease, and Pink Eye. Let's see, Pink Eye on the back. He's fallen off a little further back from Pease than he was when I first went to him. Pease is too far back to make a move, but he looks to be safe from Pink Eye. Indigo running in the points on his CRL debut. He's not a debut in terms of commentating. He's done commentating many times before on this league. Generally speaking, this season I am his co-commentator, but today I am main comms. He is reserve driver for today, and doing an excellent job of it at that. The Alfa Romeo driver sitting in 8th position. Let's go back up to the front though, because it's still quite close between Nathan and Sweet Crown. I want to just sit on board with Sweet Crown for a moment and see just how he approaches trying to gain on Nathan here. I'm even going to mute and just let you listen to the engine sounds for a minute. So still not looking like Sweet Crown's going to be able to make an overtake on this occasion, but I tell you what, Pink Eye very close to the back of Peas, so let's focus on him for a moment. He's got the DRS, but he's not using very much overtake. Phil getting himself a 3-second time penalty, that will drop him off the podium as it stands. Phil definitely not going to be taking this win now. He looked so good for so long that now he might not even get a podium as Pink Eye just barely keeping his car going forwards. Gernman gets past Julian. Frank is going to have an opportunity on Julian now. Those 9-lap-old softs won't be looking pretty, but he's still going to go round the outside. No, it's going to be Julian braking late, going down the inside of Gernman. And I tell you what, Frank, ever the opportunist, is going to look down the inside of Gernman as well. Now it's the outside. He's not going to be able to... Oh, he is going to be able to make an overtake around the outside of turn 7. What a move! I was just saying, surely he won't be able to make that overtake, and he made that overtake. That is incredible racing there from IRT Frank, but it is Sweet Crown on the back of Nathan still that Red Bull driver not able to make the overtake, using a bit of overtake out of, yeah, that makes sense, not able to make the overtake, but using his overtake to get a little bit closer. Sweet Crown 6 tenths off the back of Nathan. Nathan is defending this well, but he's gaining, he's not making a move, but he's still gaining. Sweet Crown in 4th, he's going to look at trying to get 3rd. What will Sweet Crown be able to do? We have to wait and see for this last few laps. I would imagine this is crunch time for him. He wants to make this overtake ASAP. When will Sweet Crown lunge? I'm sure he'll have to go for this move eventually. Phil needs to push as hard as he can. Pink Eye making it past Peas here. Peas is going to look down the inside of turn 6. That's going to turn into the outside of turn 7. I'm not going to rule out an overtake this time, as we saw someone else making an incredible overtake there just last lap. But this time around, Peas is not able to make the overtake around the outside of turn 7. Sweet Crown still on the back of Nathan. I keep going back to this battle. I'm very interested to see how it turns out. We've got 2 of the fastest drivers in the league here. The top 2 in the championship of Tier 1. These 2 are so quick. Let's see what they can do. Sweet Crown, he's just going to sit behind Nathan for the time being. What can he do? What can he do? He can't do anything on this occasion. He's 7 tenths back. He's out of overtake. There's got to be nothing he can do on this occasion. What can Sweet Crown do? I don't think it's going to be anything at the end of the day. Well, it might just be. He's going to have about 1, maybe 2 more opportunities come the end of this lap and come the end of the next lap. It's going to be Julian on the back of Chauza going for 9th position. Julian on the mediums goes down the inside of turn 1. A nice overtake there for the Mercedes driver, smoothly through on the McLaren. It's going to be the Aston Martin of Frank now looking at the back of Chauza. Can Frank pull himself into the top 10 even? He's going to look down the inside of turn 5. Can he make an overtake down the inside? Brakes much later. That is a nice move for Frank. Very well done on those soft compound tires. They're fresher, they're softer, and they're doing their job for Frank. He's into the top 10. Chauza's going to be under pressure from Gernman now, I would think. But Gernman, he's not got any better tires unless he's been saving them a bit. So it's hard to say how that one will turn out. It is looking really good for Sihilu. He is going on to the final lap. He's going to start the final lap as the race leader. Surely he'll finish it as the race leader as well, but I don't want a commentator's curse him, so I won't guarantee that for you. And Sweet Crown is out of DRS range on Nathan. Nathan is surely safe. He'll take P2 even. It would be P3, but with Phil's penalty, it's going to be P2 for Nathan, I think. And Sweet Crown is dropped out of the provisional provisional podiums? Net podium positions. That's the word. Net podium positions. Because he is over 3 seconds back from Phil. Phil only has a 3-second time penalty. Let's see the penalties. What are they looking like? A lot of penalties in this mid-pack. So, I'd say Chaza will be gaining quite a bit on these drivers. Gernman as well, as Gernman actually going around the outside. He can just make the move. He makes it with a little bit of contact. They make it through Julian on the inside of Frank. Frank trying to make that move. He can't quite do it though. So it's going to be up at the front towards the end of the race. He's coming through the penultimate corner. He's a reserve driver. He's Sihilu. He's entering into the final corner. The AlphaTauri driver. He's going to come across the line. He's going to win the Portuguese Grand Prix. What a drive from Sihilu. Phil takes second on the road, but he's going to drop down to third. Nathan JB17 taking second place. Sweet Crown is in fourth after an incredible recovery drive for the Red Bull driver. Kenny is fifth. Pink Eye sixth. Pease seventh. Indigo eighth. It's going to be ninth for Gernman. 10th for Chaza. Frank drops down to 11th, with Julian dropping down to 13th even with the penalties. Bompia takes 12th, and it's going to be Sieb in 14th, reversing across the line. But Sihilu, take a bow. What a drive from the number 95, from the AlphaTauri, from the IRT driver, from Sihilu. What a race. Sweet Crown getting driver of the day. And it's hard to disagree with that. What a recovery drive, but also at the same time, there were so many exceptional drives during this race. Nathan doing quite well for himself, but especially the Brit on top, Sihilu. What a drive! I'll ask if they want to do some interviews even. Let's get them in here if we can. And let's see. You'll just have to give me 1 second, as I find it difficult to type and talk. Nathan and Phil. That's not how you spell Phil. That's how you spell Phil. So, here is your finishing grid. It is Sihilu in first for AlphaTauri, followed by Nathan JB. Phil is third, Sweet Crown fourth, Kenny fifth, Pink Eye, Pease, Indigo, Gernman, and Chaza are your top 10, followed by Frank, Bompia, Julian, Sieb, and your non-finishers are Bosch, Evans, Cross Liam, and AJ Wuhan. A couple of the drivers saying yes to interviews, so I will just invite them to the party real quick. You'll just have to give me a couple of seconds, and I'll just invite the entire CRL Tier 1 Season 10 group. Please only join if you're invited. And there we go. They've been invited. Anyone can join. And hopefully only the 3 that are supposed to join though. So, what a race. Really some exceptional driving there. Very impressive from especially that top 3. The top 4 really all really just showcasing their ability there. We'll wait for them to join the party. I have invited them, I believe. And let's see. There we go. Yeah, I did send an invite. Cool. Let's see if they actually join. Alrighty, so let's just wait for those 3. In the meantime, anyone who's watching, if you want to share your driver of the day, you are more than welcome to. As Nathan joins the party, we'll wait for the other 2 as well. Okay. And so just waiting on IRT Phil now. Hopefully he will join in a moment. Thank you. Yeah, how actually, okay, well, first of all, to our race winner, first question, how do I pronounce your username?
Everyone asks the same question. People call me Chihuahua. I don't know why. I think Ginger started it by accident, but I pronounce it Sahili.
Sahilu, okay. I was calling you a Sihilu throughout the race, so proud to
Yeah,
have been
that's close enough.
close, even if not correct. All right,
Yeah.
well, excellent race there. A race-long battle with IRT Phil. You know, it's what were you thinking throughout that race? You know, with that race-long battle.
Yeah, really just trying to work together with Phil and swapping positions and trying to just break away from the pack behind was the main thinking behind that.
Right. And sorry, did you say you were working together?
Well, yeah, well, not because we're in the same team before you say that, but just as one and two trying to break away from the pack and basically just DRSing each other and then saving a bit of ERS and then overtaking and then doing that.
Right. So clearly some very tactical driving there from you. Speaking of which, you weren't, you know, you were starting relatively close to the front of the grid, but you only qualified fourth. Did that, did that stunt your confidence at all, or were you pretty pleased with that qualifying result?
Yeah, I was happy to get into the 15s and you can basically overtake everywhere at this track. It's quite a wide track, so I wasn't really worried about not being able to get through.
Right. Nice. And yeah, do you have any just sort of general thoughts on the race? A really excellent drive there, but yeah.
No, not really. Just happy to be back. Thank you to Nathan for inviting me back.
Great. Speaking of Nathan, we'll move on to him as I can hear a bit of an echo. Would it? All right. I'll move on to you, Nathan, though. And you know, you qualified third. You were fighting in. You were in third on track. Towards the end of the race, Sweet Crown caught up to you. Were you like? How did you feel that pressure from him? Did you feel concerned at any point about him overtaking you?
Yeah, I struggled that race to be honest. Like it's ever since lap one, I just didn't really felt comfortable in the car. And when I saw he was about 1.6 behind me, I kept making too many mistakes and then allowed him to get into DRS. Luckily, his tires weren't good enough, and I'm gonna guess that he had no ERS when he was in my DRS, and that allowed me to stay ahead. Um, so yeah, I was just thankful that he was on mediums and I was on hards because I did not have the pace.
Right. And you're in second in the championship as it stands, and he's in first. At least going into this round, I'd imagine that stays the same. Um, you know, do you think you can fight him? I believe, going into this round, you were. Let me just quickly check. You were 43 points behind him. You'll close in a little bit with this result. Do you think you can really bring a challenge to him for the championship?
I don't know. I'm gonna try. Like last two races were. Well, I got P2, so I'm quite happy. But on pace wise, last two races have been pretty kind of dreadful. Like this one, it should have been maximum P3. Phil's unlucky to get a pen. I don't know if it's gonna get removed or not. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I think Valter only lost out to me because of his strategy, because of that safety car. Otherwise, he would have finished at least top two. So it's difficult to say, really. I'm second, but he's too quick and consistent to be thinking about being in for the championship at the moment.
Right. And is there anyone behind you in the championship you're concerned about taking second away from you?
Well, based off the last 2 races, Phil is looking very quick and consistent. So I'm hoping he can do the rest of the season and does as well as he does. Because it's always nice to have more people battling for a championship. It's less pressure on me to have to make the season competitive because I don't want Valtteri running away with it. So that's kind of the goal. So yeah, if he can keep if me and him can get a couple 1-2s and Valtteri finishes like 3rd or 4th, that's fine. Keep doing that.
Right. And I'll move on to you, Phil. Just very quick from you all throughout the from the race. Started on pole, finished second on track, third in the end. You got a penalty towards the end. Were you struggling with track limits throughout the race, or was it just a couple of freak accidents? Yep, I can. I'll double check that the stream can as well. I can't either.
Activated, sorry.
That's alright.
Can you hear me in the stream now?
Yeah, you can.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, it's all good. All right. Thank you.
Where were we? Yeah, not much practice because I didn't really have time, but I actually was surprised to even do a 15 lap time. The PS5 and the new wheelbase really come in handy. Pace-wise, really was fantastic, to be honest. Towards the end, after Sihilu overtook me, I thought, okay, I'm gonna just stick behind, but I somewhat lost the DRS. I didn't see that he is pushing. Then I lost it and I had to push. When I was 1.5 behind, I thought, okay, let's just stick with P2 and settle for it. But on the last 2 laps after I got the penalty, which was really unlucky, just stupid, but I don't think that's gonna be removed. I'm not gonna report it. I saw that that I really wasn't using the limits of the tires, and all of a sudden I was a whole second quicker on the last 2 laps because I wasn't using the tires properly. So I think that's just down to not practicing enough. But yeah, it was a really fun race.
So going into the next weekend, which I'll just double check, is Monza. Do you think you'll be doing more practice, or Temple of Speed, few less corners, not as much necessity for practice, or what's your mentality going into the next race?
Monza is actually a track that I already raced, I think 3 times already in this game. 2 times recently in PSGL and I think it was CSS. I don't know. Yeah, I feel very strong around Monza, so I guess that the pace is going to be very strong. But practice-wise, honestly, I don't know. Mondays I have PSGL, so that just leaves me with Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday after work. But yeah, probably gonna do a few laps on Wednesday and Thursday before the race. But I think that I'm gonna be competitive right from the start.
That's great. And yeah, as Nathan mentioned, you've been quite good through the past couple of rounds. Are you trying to build up momentum, or are you just taking it race by race?
No, I think I've joined a little bit too late to just really get into the championship fight. Round 7. But I'm just gonna take it race by race, having fun, not taking it too seriously. Just a little bit stepping away from that too competitive mindset, just chilling a little bit, which ultimately helps me with my general pace. And driving with the other IoT guys mainly is a lot of fun. So having a league where it's just for fun, competitively, is really good mentally also.
Great,
Relaxing.
great. Yeah, that's great. And I think we'll end it there. So thank you to everybody who watched the stream. Had a lot of fun solo comms tonight. We got to see Indigo driving, of course. And yeah, so thanks again to everybody who watched. We'll see you next week for round 8 at Monza. Same time, same place.